Jenna Rosher, cinematographer for Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. An intimate look at the singer-songwriter's journey navigating her life on the road, on the stage, and at home while creating her debut album. It's available on Apple TV Plus. Jenna, the documentary is extraordinary because you're catching Billie Eilish like right before she basically becomes Billie Eilish. I guess like I wanted to start with like, when you were approached for the project, what were your initial thoughts?
So RJ, who I've worked with a bit in the past on other films, came to me and said, I have this project about this artist who is on the rise, so, according to her record label, and I want you to watch some footage of her and just let me know what you think. And so I watched some videos. I watched this Vanity Fair thing that they had already started doing with her. Like every year, they interview her at the same day, and I was just completely, just blown away by this person. She was so intriguing. She was like nothing I had ever seen. And so when I reconnected with RJ, of course, I said right off the bat, yes, I want to collaborate with you on this film. I said, and he said, well, like my first thing going into it is like, just watch Don't Look Back. Just watch Bob Dylan's Don't Look Back again. Watch the Maisels' Gimme Shelter. Watch every fabulous, music doc that you love, but also watch every verite film that you've always looked to, and just allow that to kind of sit with you. And when you think about making this movie again, because we knew going in we were going to make an observational film, and so we very much wanted to, go in with that approach, to make an observational film. And she was very much on board. Her family was very much on board with it. And so that was sort of, going in, that was our focus, to kind of immerse ourselves into her life, into what was going on for her. And we just happened to capture a really extraordinary time in her trajectory.
So you mentioned yeah. So you mentioned like how you like getting her family's buy-in obviously is like the thing here, but I guess what really struck me is that they're so unguarded and you're capturing all these intimate moments. How do you build that rapport and trust with them, to be able to get that? I mean, like you're seeing there's just so many scenes of vulnerability and just like regular family mundanity. I was just like, it's like really incredible that you're there capturing it. So I guess can you talk about gaining their trust to do that? Yeah. I guess it's like, yeah.
Well, so, a lot about RJ and I are really on the same page about a really minimal crew. I think intimacy is a big contributor to trust. I think so that whoever you're filming can really just kind of focus on the most important people. And it's really about nurturing those relationships. I think if it's a big crew, like when I say big crew, I mean more than 3 people. It becomes a lot of distractions and the focus of like, hey, we're here and we're curious about you and we're just kind of hunkering down with you. And so that was the primary thing. And really on any given day, it was just RJ, myself, and our sound person, Kim. And so, that was kind of where the trust started. And I think when you're making a verite film, it's really important to take care of yourself. Like self-care is really critical, because when you go into someone's world, I'm rigged up on a camera, with the exception of a few a lunch break and a few other breathers and bathroom breaks. I mean, I'm rigged in for 10 hours straight. And so going in with curiosity and patience and respect and knowing when to back off, all those things sort of contribute to this building trust. And so, we would often, when you got something and you're like, wow, if we could get one fabulous scene, we could walk away that day going, okay, we're good. Let's not be greedy. And I think people know that. I think they know that. They go, oh, I thought they were going to stay here till 8 and they left at 7. Oh, okay. So you're not just trying to, tire them out. I think it's about and investing a lot of time in just the relationship and putting the camera down, having lunch together and getting to know each other as people. I mean, that's part of the process as well. So, and like I said, Billie's family and Billie were incredibly open to us being there. We were really got really fortunate with just a wonderful group of people that were on board, that's half the struggle. So, and what resulted was just a lot of intimate moments in her home, in her car, and backstage, with her and in her not just her life as a musician, as an artist, but also as just a person, as a teenager, so we feel very fortunate for that.
Yeah, I think the family relationship stuff is really incredible. The thing I really liked about the movie, or appreciated, was that you give her mom and dad a lot of space too. I think, to be, quote unquote, characters or whatever. Like, there's a scene where after she gets her driver's license, she goes out, and her dad has this like really emotional like kind of moment. When you're capturing stuff like that, are you just like, oh my God, this is so like, it's so good watching it. I was getting emotional. Like, how are you like, oh, this is gold right here? Like, right away that this is going to be really good. I mean, like, it's just is like, there's a lot of moments like that where I'm like, oh, this is incredible that you're capturing this. So yeah, like, what were your like thoughts there? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's an example of lots of patience, and you get lucky, you luck out one day, or many days in the case of just being with her. So that was a day where it was like, okay, we're going to go Billie's going to go and get her driver's license, because she saw we were at this point, we had spent a lot of time in the car with her, just as like adults with the person who's got the permit. So she loved us, because if her parents were busy, we would just she'd be like, I want to drive. Okay, cool. Let's go for a drive. And we got to know her a lot, and she'd take us on tours of her neighborhood and as her childhood, and we'd walk back into times that were both exciting and kind of painful for her. And so we had all this, moments with her in the car. And then of course the big day, and we didn't think much of it. Even when we're driving back from the DMV, when she's like, now I can be alone, and Dad's reaction in the back. And it was only until she actually got in the car by herself and drove away that I think all of us were sort of, even myself and RJ and Jay were like, whoa, Billie's gone, Billie's leaving. And all of us were sort of shocked and standing there. And it was only until we didn't even, because that's the thing, there was no interviews, with anyone. It was more just hanging out. And her dad, who's this incredibly amazing, poetic, sort of philosophical human, just had the moment and just started telling us what was going on for him. And RJ's a father, I'm a mother, and we completely just unified and connected in this like loss that was happening for him in that moment. And then of course to see Mom come out and her disappointment that she didn't get to say goodbye, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. I really, more than anything, aside from knowing we got a really great moment, I felt for them as people in such a big way. And I also just wondered, I couldn't help but to wonder what it was going to be like for me one day when I was going to say that goodbye to one of my daughters, So yeah, it was profound. That was indeed a memorable day for all of us.
Yeah, that one really struck me too. I guess the other thing is, Billie is very self-aware, right? I think like she's also very visual. So I guess like she has like interest in being a film, she's directing like her videos and stuff. I guess like working with someone like that, does that pose any challenges? Because I think one of the interesting things about the film is that you see her giving interviews, right? Like you said, you're not interviewing her, but she's giving interviews, like radio interviews or press interviews, and she definitely has an affectation, or like she's being Billie Eilish in those interviews. And for you guys, she's not. So I guess, like, yeah, can you talk a little about like working with someone like that who is operating as like a talent, basically, I guess, for lack of a better word?
I'll tell you something right off the bat, and I love this story. When I go into making a verite film and just meeting someone, I hope that I get to spend some time with them before I film them, just as part of it, getting to know you. And hi, I'm not going to just have a camera in your face the minute I meet you. But the other thing is, we didn't have that luxury with Billie. She was already on tour. So we met up with her in Europe. And my tendency is to kind of creep back in the corner, and be a little bit more long lens voyeur, just because I don't want to be so present in their face, right? And the feedback right away from her was, and this is very much the feedback of an artist, of a visionary like herself, was, I want Jenna closer to me. I want to feel her closer to me, because I want to be able to, and she was a huge fan of The Office. I don't know if you know this, but she's very public about her love for the mockumentary. And, of course she knew we weren't making The Office, but she can't resist her love of it, because that's her kind of experience of documentary, is The Office, right? So she just said, I want her close to me because I want to be able to like connect. And of course I thought right away, because I've done so many verite films, like, no, I want to be in the back. I want to be a voyeur. I don't want her to know I'm there. I mean, you know, of course I know they know I'm there, but you know, I just want to, the nod, the breaking of the fourth wall was a little scary, but it really served the film and it served her, because I think for her, ultimately, it was a way to connect with her fans, with her audience, in a way of like, if you remember the scene where they're talking about the song Zanny and about, you know, how she's against drugs, and well, what if one day she changes her tune and she comes off like a hypocrite, or, you know, do you want to be making these statements? And, you know, at the end of that scene, right before the brilliant cut to the next moment, which is her performing, she looks dead right down the barrel. Like, and to me, that moment is like, this is my life. This is what I'm having to deal with and negotiate and consider every moment of my life, you know? And so, and also with, when she's with her boyfriend, and there's a whole series of shots and moments where they're, you know, getting all kind of, you know, the relationships, they're courting one another, so to speak. And she looks at me and kind of sticks her tongue out and makes that kind of, you know, it's her nod to like, I know you're there, but look what I'm doing, you know? And that's, is it more accepting because she's 17? Maybe, but also that's just who she is. You know, she wanted very much for me, she wanted very much to feel like there was a participation of it, that it wasn't just merely her being observed, you know? And so we were okay with that. And often she would help block me on stage when I would be filming her on stage. Cause like the worst thing could have happened is me being in the wrong place at the wrong time during a concert in front of 25,000 people. So she would often block out certain things with me on stage just so that we could figure out where I'm not necessarily in her eye line, but I'm there because she wants me there. She wants me behind her. She had me walk up the steps. She decided spontaneously to just go up the side of Radio City, which has these steps with this like fake wall behind it. And I'm on, you know, and I'm on a fully built out Lexa Mini. And this is a very narrow steps that we're walking up during the show. And the wall, I come to realize while I'm up there that that wall is not a real wall. It's a hanging sort of like partition. And there's about, you know, a good 20-foot drop right there. And I've got, you know, her performing, and I have to make enough space for her to be able to go up. This is the last shot of the film where it's all, if you see her singing, and it's all blue, it's the Ocean Eyes ending. And find a way to like, not just let her do her thing, get the shot that I want, but also like let her get back down. You know, it's just, it's ridiculous. You can't write this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think it felt very much, you know, she was very much on board, which was great ultimately for us, you know, and we feel, yeah, grateful for that.
That's great. Jenna Rosher, Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry on Apple TV Plus. Thank you so much. And stick around. We'll do the panel at the end of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.